Hey, what's up, everybody? Alex Zalbin here, and welcome to a little show I like to call Every Comic I've Read So Far This Week. For those of you wondering what's going on, Justin, as we mentioned on some of last week's shows, is away in Alaska for a couple of weeks. Pete is busy doing a show at the People's Improv Theater where we do our live version of Comic Book Club. And I am also doing a show that is opening this Saturday, again at the People's Improv Theater, where we do our live show, Comic Book Club. Don't know if you've heard that already. So we have been crazy busy and unfortunately unable to make the time to get together and film as much as we like, but we did want to provide you guys with some shows. And Pete and I, at least, will be getting together a little bit next week to do some stuff before Justin gets back. So, in any case, I decided to change up the format a little bit because we have been so reticent with our current reviews and talk to you guys about what I have read so far this week. Hopefully in under 5 minutes. Let's see what happens. This is like my own personal speed round. Speed round. Not the same. All right, first and not least, we've got Lock and Key Head Games #4. By the way, I wanted to point out this is now officially like every other comic book review show on the internet. Very exciting. Lock and Key Head Games #4 continues to be a great series. While we don't get quite the same level of visual inventiveness that we got in the last issue, which had some of my favorite comic book panels of all time, it still continues to be very creepy, very well done, starts to balance a lot of different storylines at the same time, which is very interesting, and also, like he did in the first issue of the series, opens it up to a little more than just the immediate family, and starts to give you a better picture of what's going on in Lovecraft, the town that this takes place in general, which is really great. He's taking on a lot of issues here. It continues to be scary, creepy, full of danger. None of the characters are safe. Definitely pick this up. Next, we have Superman, World of New Krypton, #2. As we mentioned before, we've been hypercritical of James Robinson's take on Superman on the show, or at least I have, mainly because I have felt like he has not really nailed Superman's voice. He does it here. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how they've completely turned it around. I think, is he writing this with someone else? Yes, he's writing with Greg Rucka. As we said about the first issue, this is even better. Kal-El is part of the Kryptonian army. We're starting to get a sense of what having 100,000 Kryptonians is not just going to do to Earth, but to the entire universe. And it's great. Really well done. Gorgeous art. Give this a look. I was very down on the direction the Superman books were taking through Action Comics with Superman and this World of New Krypton, and I would say all three of them are knocking out of the park. Great stuff, even better than they were before with the original New Krypton storyline. On the opposite side of things, Batman Battle for the Cowl #2. Still very difficult to say. This is a hyper-uber-violent book that doesn't really feel like it's going to mean a whole lot in the end. Essentially what it's doing is getting characters into places we already kind of knew they were going to go into. You know, it's not going to be too much of a shocker when you find out that Nightwing is going to turn into Batman. It's not going to be too much of a shocker when you find out that Damian is going to be Robin, and Robin is going to be Red Robin, and Jason Todd is going to be like a pouty bad boy that makes time with all women. You know, that's what they do. That's the characters. Tony Daniel does some good art in here, but man, is there a lot of posing. I guess that's what I would say about it, both figuratively and literally. Captain Britain and the MI-13. This is issue #12. Dracula is on the moon attacking Britain. It's pretty much, I think, all you need to know whether you love this book or not, and you certainly should be loving this book. It is feeling more and more like, oh my god, I totally blanked on the writer's name. Wow, I'm a terrible, terrible reviewer. Poor Paul Cornell. Sorry, I wanted to call him Paul something or other. Paul Cornell is writing this more and more like his Wisdom series, which is very big, very based in magic. It's so much fun. It's great. It's such smart writing. Definitely pick it up. Wolverine Weapon X #1. Finally, guys, there is a new Wolverine series, and I couldn't be happier. Once again, shining a spotlight on a little character is something that Marvel really does best, and it's great here to see them plumbing into something that they really haven't explored a lot, which is Weapon X, the background of Wolverine, who is the character, excuse me, you can see on the front of the cover here. All sarcasm aside, Jason Aaron does do a very good job writing Wolverine. It certainly feels like a Wolverine comic, but this is a little light on story. I don't know how much time we really needed to take to set up shadowy antagonists and set up who Wolverine is before getting into the main book. As you probably could tell from my sarcasm at the beginning, everybody pretty much knows, I'm losing my voice, everybody pretty much knows who Wolverine is, and we don't need to spend the time on that. I am looking forward to the next issue, though, because Jason Aaron does a great job. Ron Garney, great on art. Ignition City, #1 by Warren Ellis. Warren Ellis is the Wolverine of writers. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing in either case, as Warren Ellis continues to play on fun, interesting themes. This, to me, feels the most like Fear Agent. It takes place in an alternate reality where we have gone into space, unrevealed yet, but probably sometimes in the 1920s. It's basically a steampunk comic book, following this protagonist, this lady who heads to Ignition City, which is the place with the last spaceports on Earth. Good stuff, very typical Warren Ellis stuff. You know, it's not like my favorite things that he's doing right now, but you know, I'll see where it goes. That was a gigantic recommendation, you guys could tell. Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk. I have already blasted way past the 5-minute mark. Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk #4. I'm a total sucker for the series. The She-Hulk reveal goes in a slightly different direction than we thought it was going. Leinil Yu continues to deliver great art. Was it worth the wait? Hey, I say I don't care. I like it a lot. Green Lantern #39, kicking off the long-awaited Agent Orange storyline. You can see Agent Orange on the cover here. Orange is the cover of avarice or greed, and he has been hiding out in the Vega system since the beginning of time. I love what Jeff Johns is doing on this title. It's pretty much, seems like it has gone on long enough now that it has pretty evenly split the comic reviewing community, at least in terms of people who think the whole color spectrum thing is remarkably silly or it's remarkably awesome. That's an actual phrase, everybody. But I fall on the side of it being remarkably awesome. I really like it. I really like what Jeff Johns is doing. He's doing creative stuff. I will say that I wanted to say Ron Lim. I think it's Philip Tan. Philip Tan's art goes towards a little muddy sometimes, particularly with the orange constructs. It's a little tough to tell what is going on there. But, I don't know. Again, you're either into Green Lantern or you're not. And last but not least, at least in terms of what I have read so far this week, is Secret Six, #8, which is consistently one of my favorite comic books. If you're looking for bad guys so bad they're good, then tune into Secret Six. One of the great things about this is it's unapologetic. There are discussions in here about what makes somebody a bad guy, what makes somebody a good guy, what makes somebody a killer or not. But in the end, all that matters is you have Deadshot kicking people's ass and poking their eyes out. That's pretty much it. Super fun. Gail Simone continues to find fun new characters to throw into the mix. I love this book. Pick it up. And that's it for all the books I've read so far this week. As mentioned, Justin and Pete will probably be back sometime next week. At least Pete will, and then Justin's going to be back after that. We will have regular shows. I will definitely try to tape at least one more of these, showing you the dramatic conclusion to the rest of the books that I've read this week. If you have a question for us, you can write us at thecomicbookclub@yahoo.com. Comment below, upload your video responses, and if you're ever in New York, please come see our live show every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. at the People's Improv Theater. You can check us out at popcultureshock.com/cbclub. I'll see you guys next time.